Alright, there's not going to be any blunts lit this one for out of respect to the home I'm in, and we're also not going to be doing this in the man cave, so it's going to be a bit different. But I think if you've been listening to the past ones, you'll like this one a lot, especially if you're into the finding out about me and stuff. I don't know if you are or not, that's completely fine, and maybe I'm an asshole for thinking people are into me, but whatever. This one's going to be a really fun one for me because it's going to be with someone that I never really get to see anymore, someone that I grew up with. And before I get to him, we're going to start off with the what I guess I'll call the weekly update or whatever. These episodes might not come weekly, but I'm trying as much as I can. And pretty much I'm just letting you know things that happened in my life, like the story of me peeing my bed in the Philip episode. And I've had this thing my whole life where... I'd say from the age of 5 to 16 is when it started, where I couldn't catch this damn ice cream man. And what it was is, it's like he had a vendetta against me or something, because he would see me. He'd see me on my bike, on my rollerblades, whatever, and I'm just speeding towards him. And he would look at him, he'd look by me, we'd make the eye contact, and he would go. And my dad even says that, one of his favorite memories is walking outside and seeing me chase that ice cream man and yelling for him to stop, and he wouldn't stop. Okay, and now here I am, a 21, almost 22-year-old man, and I'm sitting in my home, just hanging out, chillaxing. And what happens is I hear that ice cream man, and so I dart after him. I'm like, yeah, I want some ice cream, yeah! And then they stop, and I finally get there. And as I reach the ice cream truck, I realize something. It took me 22 years to catch the ice cream man. It took me being a grown fucking man to finally get my damn Batman on a stick. Do you know how sad that is, the realization of you just spent so much of your life chasing after someone, and they finally quit, so you get the chance to actually get it, but you waited this long, because at 16 I was just like, fuck it, I'm done, I don't care, I'll eat ice cream at a Baskin Robbins or whatever. So I get my ice cream fix, I love ice cream, but my problem is I've never bought it from the truck really because of those problems. And as he was sitting there looking at me saying, so what would you like, you 22-year-old man? You fucking weirdo for chasing me? I look at him and I say, I'm done, and I walk away. That's all I could do. And, he's probably confused. He probably thinks, oh, man, that guy's going to kill himself or something. But I just couldn't do it. I couldn't find myself to be like, oh, well, I'm going to get this ice cream now finally. Oh, I'm going to be a happy little boy, little nostalgia factor. No, I just couldn't. I just had to say, grow the hell up. You're not going to catch this ice cream truck man. You're not going to be sitting here your whole life chasing him. Quit doing that. Quit chasing the impossible or the unneeded. But, yeah, so there's that. There's a weekly update. If you listened to the last episode with Philip, that was a real fun time. That was a lot different than the Panky one, because whereas with me and Panky it was a catching up kind of thing. With me and Philip, we're great freaking friends, and we hang out almost every day anyway, at least once a week if we can. And so that was just a fun time, and you could tell there's a lot of friendship there too. And in my next guest you'll hear it too, but it's still gonna be a little bit of the catching up because we don't get to see each other. And excuse my guest at his house, he's a father now, which is something really awesome. So he might have to go get the baby, but we'll keep it going to where there's no dead air, But with that, I'd like to introduce one of my best friends in the whole world, someone who I've known since he was about 3 or 4. Yes, he is a bit younger than me, and that doesn't matter because we can be friends no matter what the age. My best friend, Andrew Bernal.
What's up, guys? Thank you, Dustin. Thank you for having me.
No, dude, of course. I'm stoked that we're getting to do this.
I'm pretty stoked too, actually. When you told me about the podcast and stuff, I was like, I could see Dustin doing that. Dustin probably stays home all the time. He probably has nothing else better to do with his time.
That is exactly it.
So I figured, yeah, totally. I could see Dustin really serious about this, and it's awesome, dude. I need to look more into your podcast and kind of hear what you and Tanner have going on too at the same time, just because you're right, we don't get to see each other as much as we would like to, or as much as we used to.
Yeah, definitely.
So just hearing y'all guys talk about stuff that we all like and that we all grew up on, it just gives, I guess, a little blast from the past factor too.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just because with life now, being a dad, man, it's unreal.
Oh, I feel you on that. I mean,
awesome.
I don't because I'm not a dad, but I see what you're going through, and I see what a lot of my friends have to go through.
Yeah.
I say no day. I'm not. You know what? I'm so content with being uncle. You know, I've done it since I was about, I'd say 10 or 11, because my sisters are whores. You know, I mean, I'm the only one of 6 without any kids. Like, I'm pretty content with being an uncle, and I really like this whole my friends are having kids now thing, too, because it's like, oh, man, if I want a baby, all I'll do is I'll go hold Andrew's baby, and then I'll be like, yep, that sucked.
Oh, Uncle Duddy. You will be Uncle Duddy for the rest of your life.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay. If you're perfectly okay with that, then, you know, there's no judgment there.
Well, yeah, I mean, because, you know, I don't, I mean, you know me, I kind of have, like, like, intimacy issues. I don't really date
That's true.
women for that long, you know, I mean, and that might be a little shitty on my part, and it's not like I'm going around just banging girls using them, like, the girls I have sex with, it's a mutual agreement, you know, and some of them are
it's like a business, they're like a business partner.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, you know, I'm not paying them, but,
well, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah.
You're investing.
Partner. Yeah, I like that.
Is what you're doing.
Yeah, we're investing, you know, because humans need to go through life. Okay, you know, you can either be a human who says, I need this relationship, and yeah, that's fine. You know, I had that at one point, and I was content with it. Yeah. Then it all went to hell, so I said, I'm not doing this again. I changed my whole life to adapt to that lifestyle, and I'm not going to do that again. I like being who I am. Yeah. And, you know, so
definitely.
I can't do that, but it's fine. Like, I love that you're in a relationship. I love that Phil's in a relationship. Like, we have, I love seeing my friends be happy. It's just, for me, you know, ever since I told a couple of girls I love them and stuff, it's just like, I can't do it anymore. I actually felt it for those girls, but I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah, and you can't make yourself feel something that you don't, that's not really there. You can't make yourself feel something that another person wants you to feel. I've even learned that myself as well.
Yeah, I mean, and see, like I said, like, I don't, like, use women or anything. It's like I said, there's that basic need for some people who want to have love. Like, they need that basic need. What I need is the basic human need of sex, of cuddling, and of holding hands and stuff. I don't need that relationship part, though. I don't need a title. I don't need us to tell each other we love each other. But, like, if we're going to have sex, I'd like to sit there and cuddle, you know? I'm a cuddler. I don't see any problem with that.
You're DTC, down to cuddle?
Yeah, always DTC, dude. Always, since day one.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I don't know. I guess a lot of people have a problem with that, but I'm content with it, and I'm not having any kids right now. And if I had a kid, I would give that girl a chance. If I got a girl pregnant, I would give her a chance.
Yeah,
you know, and hope
I would hope so.
Yeah, like, I would hope that I could fall in love and, you know, create a family out of this.
Yeah.
But no matter what, even if it didn't work out, I'd still want to be like, hey, can we be friends at least? Like, we can keep this kid intact. Like, I'll give whatever money I have to, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, you just gotta think about these kind of things, you know.
Yeah, because I mean, the past year, me and my girlfriend Amanda, we've been together for over a year now. Our anniversary was right after her birthday, actually.
All right.
That's when we first met. And within this year, I mean, things happened so fast. Like, I even see that now. Like, I had to grow up pretty damn fast. Like, even before we found out she was pregnant, like, she's
older than you, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's, like, maybe four, maybe 5 years older than me.
Okay.
So she's got years of being on her own, you know, under her belt.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, after I moved out of my parents' house, like, even during the process, like, I had to just take a step back and, like, you know, I gotta really, like, this girl's giving me a chance, and this is, like, what I wanted in my, you know, my past flings relationship. I don't even call them relationships anymore. Like, they were just more, like, phases, I guess, I was going through, because I was one of those people that felt like I needed a companion. I felt like I needed something more than what I already had.
Yeah.
And, you know, after me and Amanda met, there was just something, like, there was that connection that I felt just instantly, and she even, like, she gave me a chance. Like, she told me she was going in and out of roommates, and her roommates were actually moving out because at the time they were engaged, so they wanted a place of their own. So Amanda was left with no one else to help her, you know, pay bills. So that's when me and an old buddy of mine, Can I mention names on here?
Oh, yeah, Michael?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've already mentioned Michael's name on here.
Okay, cool. I was just making sure. But yeah, me and him were, like, really good friends at the time, and we were in a band and stuff like that. We were jamming together and stuff and played shows and shit. And she told us, well, hey, you know, my roommates are moving out. You guys can move in. And right away, I mean, I was, like, shocked. Just because, like, we had barely known each other maybe a few weeks, like, maybe going on a month. And she was like, hey, you can move in with me. We can live together. In the back of my mind, I'm just thinking, is this chick for real? At the time, anyway. And then, you know, Michael moved in actually first before I did.
Yeah.
And I didn't want him to at first. As a matter of fact, like, I got really upset with him when he did, just because, I mean, I didn't have a job. I didn't have a license. You know, I was 18 years old. I was an 18-year-old kid still.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, I finally got a job, like my first pretty big job at 7-Eleven for a little while. That kind of helped me pay bills, and then I got fired.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know what sucks? I've worked almost like every major convenience store here in Texas. I've worked at 7-Eleven, I've worked at Kent Quick, and I've worked at Stripes, right down the street from my house. Fired from each and every one of them.
I've worked so many, dude. I've been a dog groomer, washer, or whatever. I've been I've washed cars.
Wait, you were a dog groomer?
Yeah, and whenever I was in Lubbock, I've worked at a deli. I've worked almost every fast food thing you can think of. I've what else? I've done retail. I've done dock work. Recently I was a truck driver. Like. That's why I gotta do this. This is what I'm good at, I guess, because everything else I just fail.
I guess that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Now that you put it that way. I agree. I respect that, too. I do. This is something you're definitely good at. This is your talent, is just talking.
I mean, I would like to think so. I like, you know, I mean, back to the basic need thing, you know, it's a basic need to have good conversation, we go through our lives, you know, working all the time or doing whatever, even if you don't have a job, like, you usually try to keep yourself busy unless you're a lazy bum. And even whenever I'm not working, like, I'll go out and, like, I'll do something for my dad, make some money or whatever. You know, I do stuff to keep myself busy. So, after that while, you know, even if you're at work and you got people you could talk to, those aren't your close friends, maybe. Everyone needs a good sit-down, break from reality, break from life, just conversation.
Everybody needs to be a guest on a podcast.
Pretty much. That's how I see it.
I mean, that's a good way to look at life. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you know, we've been friends since I was like 4 or 5. You were maybe 6 or 7 at the time. Because you and Phil are the same age, and y'all were always like big brothers to me, like even since we were, and even now. I mean, even now, you know, it's just times like that never really like leave a person. If you've known someone their whole life and you're still in contact with them, like you're doing something right.
Yeah.
Just because everyone, like you said, you know, everyone needs like a sit down to just kind of talk, and maybe even if you're going through struggles, whatever they may be, like, it's just cool to just sit down and just talk with somebody.
Yeah, definitely.
Everybody needs that friend, and even if it's, like, your life companion, like, with me and Amanda, for instance, dude, we never fight. I'll be real, like, I think we've only had, like, 1, maybe 2 that I can't even finish off with one hand how many times we've, like, you know, actually had a serious, like, almost breakup.
Yeah.
I mean, I can name them both, and, I mean, she gave me chance after chance, and then finally I just, you know, I didn't want to strike out a third time, so...
Okay. That's a real good way to look at it, I'd say, if you're going for that relationship style, you know. Don't, like, if you already messed up twice, you better...
Yeah.
Better be on the lookout, you know?
Yeah. But, I mean, that's been a year since all that shit happened. Like, and we were still, like, maybe 3 months into our relationship when those 2 strikes happened. So I think, you know, going on over a year now and having a family of our own, I mean, it's very unlikely for me to, like, mess up anytime soon, which is pretty cool.
All right.
Well, I think it's pretty cool.
One of the reasons, like, I had to have you on, of course, other than, you know, you're one of my best friends, like, you know, had to.
Of course.
I mean, even if you weren't one of the early ones, you were going to end up on here.
Eventually.
It's just timing, you know, we got to do this today, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
But, okay, so something that I've talked about with the other 2 guests, is like the Pine Box and stuff. I mean, whenever I refer to the Pine Box, I'm talking about the venue that I go to, but this could be at any venue. Any music scene, in a town or whatever can go through this.
Because they're everywhere.
Yeah, and I want you to take this all not as an insult, okay? And I don't mean it as like an insult to you at all. Because you've also changed a lot over the years, and I'm much more like the person you are now. Right. Not that I've ever hated you, it's just like,
Granted, we've had our differences.
Oh, yeah. We might
more than once. I mean, we may even have said stuff like that we didn't mean now, that we don't mean now, and that we laugh about now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been a complete dick to Andrew many of times, and, I apologize for that, like...
Yeah,
I mean, it just...
He has.
It happens, I mean, it's like an older brother syndrome.
And that's mainly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, we've known each other for so long, we're gonna fight, and we're gonna argue, and we're gonna talk shit to each other.
Yeah.
But then, like, later on, you just take a step back, and you realize, you know what? That's my brother.
Yeah, of course, exactly.
I love him regardless.
Yeah, regardless
of,
like, they're doing things, I don't do or whatever. But, like, there was this long time, with the other guys, we talked about, like, when the hardcore kids comes in, like, they usually have this big old attitude of, like, I listen to hardcore, that's all I'm gonna listen to, like, this is the life. And I did that for a long time, and it made me, like, hate a lot of things that, like, you were liking and stuff, and even a lot of things that I usually enjoy.
Yeah.
Like, even right now, like, I'll listen to a lot of shit that a hardcore guy would be like, oh, you're a pussy.
Yeah.
But, I have no problem with that now. With you, though, what I see has happened in our town is, like... And it's even weirder now that, like, you, do you want to get your baby?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. I'll keep it talking. But, sorry, he has a baby. Like I said, we have to... kids come first. But, yeah, like, the way I see it is you, had this, like, following around you, you were the start of what I call the kids at shows, because I call anyone who goes to a show a kid just because, like, hardcore kid. Or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, because they are kids.
Yeah. Well, okay, so now we have we're trying to have the Pine Box where, like, we're not known as this hardcore venue or whatever. We're not known as these hardcore guys.
Yeah.
Everyone's trying to step away from that. Because, like, it just makes people think down on this and stuff, and it makes a lot of those, like, the metalcore kids or pop-punk kids, whatever they're getting into now, or, like, the scene kids, I guess, like, it makes them not want to be around us. But about those kids who, okay, so, like, we had this joke, like, whenever a big show, like, Sworn In or whatever happens, and, like, all those kids are there, we're, like, looking around, it's me and Philip, we're, like I said, I was like, man, I'm surprised Andrew isn't here. And Philip goes, yeah, The Godfather? What is The Godfather not doing here? And it's because you were. And it's
wow.
But here's something I have to say, like, why I don't want you to take it as an insult, because you're a lot cooler than those kids, and you even were then too, or back when you were their age. These kids now, man, I don't like them, and it's not the fact that they're not listening to hardcore, because a lot of them do too.
Kind of.
Yeah, I mean, well, whatever you want to consider.
Whatever they want to call hardcore, anyway.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I can get along. Okay, Alec, I love Alec to death. Yeah. I can get along with that kid. That kid has it going. He knows what he wants to do. Right. And he knows his style of music, and he's not going to judge anyone. That's a cool guy.
He listens to a lot of good shit, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's a good guy. I'll go ahead and say it right now, mainly because I want y'all on here, and I don't know if you're going to hear this or not, and I hope you do, though. Florida, forgive me, come on my show, and we're going to talk about some things. We're gonna talk about some things about how y'all do it, and we'll have I want us to all leave friends, because Michael's in that band, and I love Michael, but you guys should definitely come on, so we should have a chat. The way I see it now is none of them want to put in the work. Everyone wants to just be a big band now.
Everyone wants to get signed. Everyone wants to go on tour. Nobody really... I can see where you're going with this. No one really, like, takes a minute to, like, think how hard being on tour really, really is.
Yeah.
The real struggle of bands, like... And people say it... People think that, being in a band and being signed, oh, you have it made. You're famous. Yeah. Like, you get music videos, you get tours, you get all that stuff, you get merch made for you. People don't really understand, like... Being on tour it's like there's not even really a word to describe it. Really, there's not.
No, because there's not.
Of course you're with your friends. You're doing something that you want to do, and you want to share what you create with the world.
Yeah.
But there's so much more to it than that, because when you're in a van or when you're in a tour, but whatever, your transportation is to city after city, state after state, I mean, all that shit costs money. All that shit, it's overwhelming because... I mean, it's a struggle. Like, you're broke every night. You can't eat. You can't shower. You have to ask people to stay at their house, or that if they have somewhere to stay for you.
Yeah, or you sleep in the van.
Or you sleep in the van. Last resort, or you freaking park in front of a Walmart.
And sometimes, you don't get your guarantee.
And
sometimes you don't make money.
There's never a guarantee. That's what, that's kind of...
Yeah, I mean, it may be called a guarantee, but let's be honest. There's not a guaranteed amount of money there, no matter what.
Definitely not. I mean... Your best bet is literally and it's it's a long shot too, but getting signed to a big label like fucking Rise or something like that, and even Rise bands struggle.
Yeah, oh definitely.
It doesn't matter. That's what kids need to realize. It doesn't matter who you're signed to, and it doesn't matter if you're signed. You're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
Because not everyone's gonna like you.
Yeah, and let me say, it's not just Florida Forgive Me.
It's not just
for people from our town who are listening. Yeah. It's not just them. It's a lot of these younger kids. They're all doing this. They're all starting bands, and they're just we're going to do this. And, screw playing local shows or whatever.
Yeah, people, that's the problem with our local scene now. They skip the being a local band part.
Yeah.
They skip the local phase. They want to jump the gun. They want to, freaking leap off the cliff and just take a dive into getting signed into the industry, and it just doesn't work that way.
And let me just go ahead and I'll put out my problems for Florida Forgive Me. If y'all hear this and y'all want to come on and debate with me or whatever, let's do it, guys, because I'm sorry. I'm tired of me trying to help you guys out. And it's not like I'm oh, here, take some money or whatever so y'all can be famous. No, I'm actually giving y'all advice and trying to help y'all and setting y'all up with things that could help y'all along the way. And y'all just ignore me. Y'all are just oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Whatever.
We've been on tour before.
It's fine. It's fine if y'all don't want to do the things we do and stuff, but I still think y'all should come and talk to me, because what my problem is with y'all is, yes, y'all will play the Pine Box, and that's awesome that y'all are at least down to play there. My problem is y'all leave right after. Y'all don't support the other bands. Y'all make it a huge deal for people to come out to support y'all, to where even y'all are posting, if y'all get canceled off a show, y'all make it seem like the whole show's canceled, so where no one wants to go. And then I see it where people are well, I'm not going to go there if y'all aren't playing. That's stupid. What y'all need to be doing is, since all these stupid people are actually acting like this, oh, I'm not going to go unless they go, y'all play, and you stay, so you can keep everyone there, so you can get these bands more fans and stuff.
Exactly.
So you can help these bands they're trying to help you or whatever.
It's not even being supporting the bands, it's supporting the venue. What you're doing is you're bringing people to stay and watch the Pine Box shows.
Yeah.
You're not bringing people to just watch your set and then take off. Because you're not helping anybody else. If you want to preach about sticking together and watching each other's set lists, you gotta practice it too. You gotta follow up.
Definitely.
One thing that I used to do, even back when I was in high school and I was in all my other bands, I was in Cross Your Heart, I was in Lights Along the Skyline, I was in Traveler, I was in whatever fucking band I was in.
Yeah.
Every show that we played at the Pine Box, I would make it a priority to at least stay for... If I couldn't stay for the whole show, I'd stay for at least 3 other bands or whoever else was playing.
All right, well, let's talk about with y'all's situation, whereas, y'all did stay all the time, but if there was a situation where y'all had to leave, y'all let everyone know.
Yeah, we would tell everybody.
You'd be like, hey, man, I'm sorry, I really want to watch, but, I honestly can't. With those guys, they just leave. With a lot of local bands, they'll just leave, man.
It's shitty. I'm just going to put it bluntly. It is shitty, and, Florida Forgive Me can even come up to me, to my face, and tell me I'm wrong. I would love for them to do that.
Yeah.
But I do agree with you. In supporting a local scene, you have to support your venue. You have to promote the promoters as well. It's
even a working together thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's 50-50. It's always going to be 50-50 because they're letting you play at their venue. Mm-hmm. And if you don't give back to that, then they're just gonna hate booking you.
Yeah. Well, see, what I don't get is, whenever we were their age, we were getting into going to local shows and stuff,
Yeah.
that was the first thing we did. We were like, "Hi, I'm so and so.
Yeah.
What do you play? What do you do?"
Exactly.
We were like,
we would interact with everybody.
We want everyone to be friends, so I want to know these musicians no matter what they're playing. And that's why I can be I do not like Florida Forgive Me's music. I'm not going to say they're a bad band at all, because they have a fan base.
Right.
It's not my style of music, but I could be best friends with all those guys if they give me a chance.
Yeah,
they just don't want to give me a chance, is what I feel like. I mean, Michael has, and I love Michael to death.
Well, then again, we've known Michael for years.
Yeah.
But
and I'm not putting it all on him. I'm not putting it all on one member of the band.
It's not all. on
I
one
see it all as a whole, because
it's all as a unit.
Yeah, I mean, because there could be someone in there who could be like, "Hey, guys, maybe we should do this. You guys aren't huge yet. You need to think about that. Y'all aren't huge yet, no matter what. No matter what kind of label you're on, no matter what deals they're offering you. And you're also not looking at the big picture, too. Like, think about how much money you're going to owe this huge record, quote-unquote, record label you got supposedly signed to. Think about the long run. You were going to be in debt for maybe the rest of your life. Why do you think that so many bands have dropped off that label?
Or they just do it themselves, which was, that's the way to go, is DIY.
That's what I say. I mean, a record label's awesome. Like, Ivy League's on 6131, and, they work together and stuff. And also, Ivy League did that work. Ivy League
they did.
Started
in a band since 2008.
I believe so, yeah. I mean, whenever we first saw them, they weren't really even a band. They were kind of like a fun...
They were a side project, is what they were. They were starting off when it was Josh, Rick, and Willie.
Yeah.
And it was just three guys, they just decided, hey, let's jam.
Yeah. And then it turned into something because they put in the work. And also, another reason it turned into something, because whenever they played a show, they would get off stage and they would talk to people.
Exactly.
They'd be nice to everyone. They'd talk to the other bands.
Still do.
And
none of those guys have changed, even with whatever lineup change that they may go through in the future. Like, they will always remain the same people, and that's what I respect the most about Ivy League. And it's not just Ivy League. There's a lot of different local bands that I consider local bands, like Calloused, or Moving Forward, or vice versa when they're still together.
Yeah.
They're originals. Like, they will sit and talk to you and have a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And even if you don't know them at all, they're still gonna not be a dick, not be a douchebag, and just I don't know you, I don't have to talk to you. That's the problem. Sure. That's the problem with more nowadays bands, not even local bands here, but bands like Sworn In and bands like who else is another band? Even taking big names like fucking Of Mice and Faggots.
Oh, we don't use that word on here.
Of Mice and Gay. Is that better?
That's fine. Hey, people can use words the way they want. I'm just letting you know I don't approve of that. Sorry.
Okay, my apologies.
Sorry. No, you're fine. You're fine. You were allowed to say that. I just so there's not. I gotta.
Right.
Well, it's just because if I sit there and even though I respect people's opinions and stuff, I don't want people thinking I sit there and use that word. It's fine if you do. It's just that's a word I choose not to use.
I really don't say that as much anymore.
Oh, I know you don't. It was. It's a joke too. There's something me and Philip talked about. It's an inside joke. You should go look up the video on YouTube.
You should.
But yeah, it's comedy. It's just some people don't say. I need to let people know hey, sorry, I got him. I put him in, I guess, on check, but I just let you know hey, there are people who could be offended by that.
True.
So I'm sorry if that offended you.
Okay, my bad.
No, you're fine. You're fine. But go on where you were saying of mice and F word.
Yeah. But just bands like that, they have a huge following. Just because, their singer or whoever's in the band, they just don't, and maybe this is just from personal experience too, when I met those guys, they didn't care at all talking to anybody. They just put on a front just to, sell merchandise. Mm-hmm. And what really stings me is that there's a guy in their band who was once the nicest guy, and he sung in a band called James Elsewhere.
Yep.
Aaron Pauley.
Yep.
And, the only reason why that band even matters to me anyway is because of Aaron Pauley. Because Aaron Pauley, I remember when he was in Jamie's Elsewhere and he played at the Pine Box a couple years back, I didn't have any money to buy a shirt. So I gave him all the change that was in my pocket. And I told her, hey, Aaron, dude, I love your shit. You know, your music's awesome. I wish I could buy a shirt, but I don't have enough money for a shirt. So this is all the money that I have in my pocket change. So, you know, it's yours. Like, do with it what you will. Like, get you something to eat, pitch in for gas. It doesn't matter. Like, this is all the money that I have right now, and it's like, here you go, dude. And then he saw that, and he was just like, you know, dude, come with me. So he took me to his merch table. He said, pick out a shirt, and he gave me a shirt with all the change that I had in my pocket. That's a musician right there. Doesn't that
sound a lot cooler than, you know, going up to a person that are just like, huh.
Yeah, they just laugh at you and they just be like, well, that does sound like a personal problem. I'm just like, dude, like, you don't understand. It's kids like that are diehard fans of your music, that they're willing to give you whatever pocket change that they have on them just for you to have, like, to do with it as you will. Like, that's not, I mean, that's money coming from the heart, literally.
Yeah.
Because they respect you and they love your music, they love what you do, and it impacts their life somehow.
Yeah.
And that's what more bands nowadays just fail to see. Like, they fail to see that little kid that's coming up to their merch table and be like, I don't have enough money to buy a shirt, but here's all the money that I have on me right now. Like, I don't...
Okay.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
No, I completely agree with that, man. That's a good opinion to have, I see. Like, you know, that's why I brought all this stuff up, because I just don't see bands not wanting to put forth the work. I'm sorry, I don't respect you if you're not going to put in the work. If you're just going to sit there and try to jump on and
try to jump on a label and try to get on the road, like, without building a foundation with your local scene first, then you're not going to get any respect from your local scene, from anybody.
Yeah, and you know, all those metalcore bands that are doing that in our town, or in any town, you can't blame it on just, it's because they're the hardcore guys, so I don't want to be mixed in with that or whatever.
Yeah.
Moving Forward's a pop-punk band.
And they're one of the biggest local bands here in the local area.
Ivy League's like a darkish kind of punk band. Like, they're like pop-punk, but like real dark, you know? Like, if you hear the Geekers one, you can hear Josh talk about it. He'll describe it better.
Yeah.
But and then we also had different types of hardcore. Black Lantern, that was a hardcore band, but not, because they were doing weird things.
Yeah.
And everyone loved seeing that.
A lot of different weird elements, like melodic elements, into their style of hardcore.
Yeah. And then we had Jordan doing Girl Husky. That's a completely by himself screamo type of thing. You know, we have different bands and stuff, and it's not like...
And even going back to the past, like, we had fucking Kingsbury Run. Remember them? They were the fucking first local deathcore band, whatever you wanted to call them. We had Kingsbury Run. We had Break Yourself back in the day. We had, dude, I could go on and on with the list of local bands that we used to have that actually, like, cared about their scene. Mm-hmm. That cared about bringing people to the venue to watch the whole show.
Yeah. Well, I mean, see, music doesn't matter. And a lot of, you know, people, mainly hardcore guys, I'll give that to the metalcore kids who want to, you know, judge the hardcore guys. There's a lot of us who are freaking assholes, you know? Like, we just, you know, don't accept other types of music. But it's changing a lot. And I'd say one of the things that first made me think of that whenever I was all big, hardcore, only hardcore.
Back when you were an elitist.
Yeah, back when I was an elitist. That's the best way to put it. There's this band from Lubbock called What's Called Ghost. One of the best deathcore, death metal bands, whatever you want to call it, I've ever heard. And then Break Yourself was, like, great friends with those guys. Josh Huff did guest vocals on one called Ghost song live. You know, and it was like, so it doesn't matter? What I thought I was supposed to abandon, I could still listen to that? And then that's when I was like, oh my god, I'm such an idiot for getting lost in this way of life.
Yeah, because that's really what hardcore is. I mean, hardcore, it's not like a style of music. It's not a genre. It's like, it really is like a way of life, and it impacts people so hard to where you don't want to listen to anything else. You don't want to accept anything else for what it is.
True.
I mean, you just have to... People just, in the lifestyle of being hardcore, what they want to, I guess, convey what it means to them.
Yeah. Well, see, that was, like, one of the best things about you, is, like, I always, you know, I was, like, always pissed. I was like, oh, my little brother doesn't want to be like me. It was pretty much, on the inside, that was the main thing,
that
you know,
I mean, sting.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, man, why doesn't he only want to listen to hardcore like I am? Why is he, like, he likes it, but why is he still listening to these quote-unquote shitty bands?
Yeah.
And then, you know, all that happened, and I came to realization, I was like, Andrew was the one who had it right this whole time. This guy that we were making fun of, you know, for liking all this other stuff, he was the only person who had it right. You were truly the only person who had the right thinking whenever it came to music.
You just gotta accept it for what it is. I mean, even if you don't like the style of music, I mean, the way I see it now, especially now, like, if I see a band live and I don't like their music, I still make it to go up and talk to them and just, like, respect them enough to say, hey, man, you played a good set. You know, you just gotta, I mean, because bands do want to hear that, too. I mean, because they're going from city to city, playing tour after tour. They're tired. They want to go home, too. They're people just like us.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, you just gotta give them that enough respect. And if they don't take it and they're just like, oh, thanks, man, they walk off to their merch table, I'm just like, okay, all right. You just gotta accept it. And just like, okay, they don't want to talk. And it just happens.
It does happen, you know, but, like, you can tell that when there's a difference of, like, they're just too tired, you know, to, like, even talk.
Oh, yeah, definitely, too.
And then the difference of, no, I'm not going to talk to you, you're less than me.
Like, of my sin F-word.
Yeah, my sin F-word. So we're going to start calling him now, my sin F-word.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I just can't stand that band, strictly because of the fact that, you know, I'm not going to mention, you know, their bassist, because he is the only member that matters in that band.
Yeah.
But all those other members are just... They're just full of them.
Hey, man.
Just full of it.
If I ever meet Austin Carlisle in real life, I'll punch him in the face because he hurt one of my best friends, and that's something I don't need to get into until she comes on, but, yeah, you know, that really fucking hurt me, seeing one of my best friends, especially a woman, crying over just because some douchebag in a band had to do a really fucked up thing.
Yeah.
You know, Austin Carlisle is just a piece of shit. Those bands, they don't care anymore. They're just like, oh, I'm big. I can talk to people however I want.
Do whatever the fuck I want.
Look at Stick to Your Guns. It's one of the biggest hardcore bands around, and they're still the nicest guys.
I respect those guys. You can say what you want about the Ghost Inside, but they're the same way. They will
Oh, yeah. I mean, we don't have to get into that whole, like, terror, Ghost Inside, hardcore, metalcore thing. You know, we don't have to. We're talking, that's what this whole conversation about is, like, that stuff doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter what kind of style of music you play. It doesn't even matter if you're a musician. Like, if you go to a show or if you're a part of a show, you know, you're just as equal as the person paying to see you.
Yeah. See, there was I remember one time, back whenever I was in Here Lies a Hero, we opened up for this one, like, pop punk band. And, like, when I say pop punk, I mean, like, they were, you know, poppy.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I'd say if I was 13, I would have loved it. And I appreciate it. I was like,
I Call Fives?
No, it wasn't I Call Fives. I'll fight them. But, yeah, and, like, you know, I was like, this is a good band. I don't dig it too much now, but, like, I'm going to sit here and watch it because they watched our whole set.
Right, yeah.
And the coolest thing was
there.
Yeah. Well, like, they came up to me afterwards, and they were like, hey, man, thanks for watching our set. Like, that was really cool of you. Thanks, man. And I was like, oh, of course. Y'all remind me of this band I used to listen to when I was 13. They're like, oh, that's what we're doing. And they're like, actually, this is, like, our side project, because we're all in other bands, and this is just, like, like, we wanted... It's like that My Take It Home band. They wanted to play music that they grew up on, you know?
Exactly.
So they did that. Exactly. And then, like... I remember Jackson, nothing against Jackson, one of my best friends from Here Lies a Hero, Jackson Moore. I slapped one of that band's stickers on my bass, and he's like, oh, that band's so bad, why? And I was like, that doesn't matter to me, they were so nice. Like, I sat there and talked to those guys forever. Yeah. And, like, just, like, one of them in this poppy-ass band was a diehard hardcore dude. He was just like, yeah, I just know how to play this shit, you know? But let's go over here and drink beers, smoke pot, and listen to hardcore. We're like, okay, cool. And there was this one guy who was like, he's like, I only listen to pop music or power pop, whatever. Like, that's my stuff. Another guy, he was a punk guy. Like, it was so cool that
different, like, backgrounds of music.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming together and just making music. I mean, that's what it should be all about.
Yeah, you know, I mean, so I can support a band that I think is bad or whatever if they're nice to me. My problem is, like I said, let's go back to that Florida Forgiven band, because I really want you guys to hear this, and I really want you guys to come on. Come on as a group or separately. It's whatever you want to do. But, like, I'm sorry, y'all aren't being that nice. Here's my problem. Michael, you're a nice guy, so you're doing it right. I'm not going to call out the other ones because I'm not going to say y'all's names just because, I mean, I kind of know y'all, but not well enough as I know Michael.
I know them all pretty well.
Okay, well, see, my thing is, like, I've offered some of you guys advice and stuff, and y'all just kind of treat me like I'm some asshole who doesn't know what he's talking about. And I might not know everything I'm talking about, but you're not going to look into it and maybe think like, oh, maybe we'll listen to him?
Right. And you know what? There's only one member that I won't call him out, and I'm not trying to call him out. I'm not trying to like be disrespectful, but I think that member of the band knows who he is. And you know what, kiddo, you got a long way to go. I'm being real, like this is me being serious. You have a long way to go before you can refuse advice from someone who is older than you and is wiser than you and knows this game way more than you think you do. So I'm just being completely honest right now. You know who you are. Just get real, dude. Yeah. That's all I gotta say. So, get real.
Seriously, guys, like I said, come on. Like, we're not...
And we're not trying to disrespect anybody. It's not just Florida Forgive Me. It's any local band. It's any band that wants to be a band. It's anybody who wants to just sit up in their garage and just play music with their friends.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm only talking from the perspective of my hometown because, especially in these first few episodes, like, those are the people who are going to hear it, you know?
Exactly.
When we spread out more and, you know, just if you're listening to this and you're not from the town of Odessa, Midland, or whatever, or you don't even know anything about it, apply all this information to a band in your town. Apply it to things that are going on in your town, because I guarantee you there's something like this going on in every town. Every town has a Florida Forgive Me. Every town has a Pine Box.
Exactly.
It's just the way it goes. Every town has bands that are assholes. Not Florida Forgive Me. They're not assholes. That's what I wasn't saying that.
Yeah, well, let us reiterate that we're not calling out Florida Forgive Me. But
I'm calling them out to come talk to me. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Especially because I think that'll make for a good episode. And, you know, if we leave on different terms, that's fine with me, guys. I just need to talk to you guys in person. Because this messaging thing, I feel like, one, y'all say a lot more in messages than y'all would say in person. And I'm sorry if y'all don't feel that way. Even more proof, or even more reason for y'all to come prove that, like, y'all aren't like that. You know, come talk to me, because I'm tired of this trying to help y'all out and getting nothing in return. And it's not like I want, like, I'd want to thank you. That's really all I want, is thank you for caring, because I don't get that, and I'm sorry. I care about every local band, no matter what they do.
No matter what kind of style they are, even like I said, even if you don't like the style of music, if you stay to watch someone's set and they're going on after you or what, you stay for their set.
Yeah,
and you stay for the whole show at that. Like, you're telling people to pay to watch your band, and that's not cool. That doesn't sit right with me.
Exactly.
Because I remember when I was in my local bands, you know, even if people didn't like my voice or if they didn't like the style of music that I was playing with my friends, they still had enough respect to come up to me after we were done playing and said, dude, you played a good set. Or, dude, you have a good voice. Or, dude, whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, and with those bands that I don't like that much, like, I'll take a local band, Wildfires, from here.
Okay.
Which, even though after their last EP is amazing, I'm going to say that right now, guys. Your EP, this last one y'all came out with, was just totally amazing.
Even after the first one.
Yeah, well, see, with those first things, those first couple of sets, you know, I was into it, you know, mainly because y'all are all my friends, and that's the best part of it.
Exactly.
And it's like, this band's amazing, it's not my style. But there's something I've always told their guitarist, Alex Rios, with every band he's in, I love the noises he makes from his guitar. He's a lead guitarist mainly because he plays lead parts, you know?
Yeah.
And I love those things I love watching him. I love that.
Yeah,
and
me and Alex jammed a few times a while back, and yeah, dude, they have all got talent.
Yeah.
They've all got mad potential and talent, and that comes a long way.
So yeah, I mean, you know, if you don't like a band, you can still find something and give a compliment, you know? Exactly. I told Alex straight up, I was like, it's not my style, but I really love the things you do, dude, and y'all are a good band. And they were like, thanks. That's cool. I felt that way about some of the bands you were in, and I was like, okay, fine. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we can kind of get back on to where we usually go with the guests. We usually talk about this, like with the Philip one, I talked about, you know, I don't care as much about the Pine Box and stuff. And some of these things that we've talked about me and you talked about are some of the reasons, you know.
Yeah.
I see both sides going on, and I'm in the middle, and I don't care, but I do at the same time. But, yeah, let's get on to where we are, because I actually forgot to ask you the main question. Who the hell are you?
Wow, you just dropped that bomb on everybody.
Yeah, who the hell are you? Let's get some knowledge of Andrew Bernal.
Okay, well, I'm 19 years old, and I like sunsets, and I like food, and I like barbecue.
All right, I'll just ask you some questions.
Okay.
Yeah, so when did you decide that... Have you made the decision that you don't want to be a musician anymore now that you're a father?
That's a good question. Well,
because I know, I mean, like, of course it's not a priority anymore.
Right, and that was probably the biggest thing that I had to come to realize whenever Amanda told me that she was pregnant. I knew right away that I just had to accept fully that, okay, my life is about to change big time. Like, there's going to be some big changes in my life. And one of those things was indeed music. And another thing was not being able to see people who I used to hang out with all the time. You know, I'm not going to see those people as much anymore. It's just something that, it's a realization in life where a boy becomes a man. Mm-hmm. And you just have to accept the fact that your life is about to revolve around your family, around your kid, just around work and stuff like that, being able to support your family.
Okay.
You just have to, I mean, and that goes out to anybody else who's like expecting a baby or is planning to start a family and stuff like that. The best advice I can give you is always take a step back to reflect on that realization that your life is going to change, and you have to be okay with it. No matter what the changes are, you got to embrace change. You have to. Just because even if you don't see eye to eye with the mother or the father of your child, either way, it's going to affect your kid. And that's the problem with the youth nowadays is, you know, they don't have parents that take a moment to just like tell their kid, you know, I love you. And it comes a long way. With the way I was raised, I had my parents my whole life, and I'm blessed for that. I'm very thankful for that. My parents have been together over 20 years. And so I had that growing up. But, I mean, I guess you can say with other people that I know, you know, that didn't have, like Phil, for instance, you know, his parents were divorced when he was real little.
Yeah.
And he grew up with that, and in a way...
I grew up with a stepdad, you know.
And you grew up with the stepdad, exactly. So, I mean, you just have to... You have to realize, like, no matter how you grow up, if you have a kid, you always want to plan better for them. I mean, and with Amanda, I'll go ahead and just be honest. I'm pretty sure she won't mind. I'll show her this podcast later.
Okay.
But, you know, she grew up pretty hard with her and her sister. She grew up in a single parent home with her mom.
Okay.
And her mom, you know, had different boyfriends and stuff like that until she finally remarried when she was a teenager.
All right.
But Amanda grew up pretty hard. She did. Her and her sister both. Because they had to grow up at a really, really young age when they shouldn't have. I personally feel like her childhood was kind of taken from her. Okay. And not willingly either.
I've seen this happen to kids before, and it sucks that happens.
It really does. And
that actually helps me understand Amanda a lot more. Not that like I never got her, but
right.
Like that just.
But I mean, the reason what people misinterpret about Amanda, and this is why I love her to death so much, is because she's so independent, and it's not because like she chose to be. I mean, of course, yes, she chooses to be independent now.
Oh, of course.
Like, but I mean, when she was real young, man, like she didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
Like her mom would be like, you know, at 12 years old, here's the keys, go get groceries, or hey, there's a sink full of dishes, wash them, or I mean, whatever else it was, and you know, her mom, you know, and I love my mother-in-law too, but she is part of the reason why Amanda is the way that she is.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying that's a bad thing either.
No, I mean, you know, you accept a person for the good in them and the faults, you know.
Yeah, you have to. And you have to really, especially if you're having a family with this person and you're making it work too, like me and Amanda, we're making this work very well. you have to understand where each other are coming from, our backgrounds, and you can't judge anybody just by their background either. You can't judge someone by the front cover, and you can't judge them by the back cover either. Like, if anything, you got to read the back cover to know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way I can explain it. It's like a book. You're reading someone like a book. You got to understand the synopsis on the back first. Yeah. Before you can read more about this book that you're getting into.
Dude, that is the best way to think of it, I think. Everyone is, you got to know the synopsis of the book before you open it up.
Exactly.
That's a perfect way to look at it.
I don't understand what they're coming from, why they are the way that they are, why an author wrote this book. You have to read on it.
Wow. Yeah. See, that's something awesome about you. Like, usually, I have to ask the people, all right, so this is what you've gone through. What would you tell someone so that, if they're going through the same thing right now? I didn't even have to ask you. You just went off, and you probably helped on this little rant you just went on. You covered 3 to 4 different things that could have helped different people.
I would hope, anyway.
Dude, and now, this is, the complete honesty I can be. I'm looking you right in the eyes right now as I say this. And it's not that I never thought you could be a dad or anything, I never had a doubt about it.
Right.
But now after seeing this, you just sat there and went off without me even asking you to give advice. You just went. That's what dads are supposed to do. You were going to be an amazing father. You really are.
I plan to be, man.
I'm even more happy that we've recorded this today because that's the reason why I like doing podcasts too, because it brings our friendships all
closer.
Yeah, closer, and we find out more about each other.
Yeah, there's more of an understanding between. Yeah.
Dude, you're doing good. You were doing very good for yourself, and that makes me happy.
Thanks.
So, most people, see, that's another thing. Most people that get into hardcore punk metal, whatever, they come from a broken family and stuff, and you really didn't. Definitely. You had a.
I'll be honest. I mean,
there was problems in the family sometimes, but it's never
minor problems.
Yeah, minor.
Normal problems, I guess I could say.
Yeah. But, most people go into that because they see all these people with broken homes and stuff. What led you to that stuff? You didn't have that broken home aspect like the rest of us.
I guess I was more understanding. I've always had this quality, this characteristic about me. I'm a carer. I'm a carer. I'm a giver. I understand people and what they go through. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a judger at all. I don't judge anybody from what they've gone through or how they are the way they are. Yeah. I'm just more of a person that accepts somebody for who they are. Even if I don't like them, if I know more about that person and why they are the way that they are, I just leave it alone. And me wanting to be a musician and me being in my past local bands that I was in with Michael or with you and Phil and stuff like that, in my lyrics, I always wanted to write stories that people could relate to. I always wanted to be like that voice that someone could listen to and, their day feels better.
And that's what drew you to metal hardcore?
What drew me the most about metal hardcore was actually the first band, I'll be honest, the very first band that got me really, really much into, what my understanding of hardcore at first was the Ghost Inside, their first record, Fury in the Fallen Ones.
All right, there's nothing wrong with that.
And after hearing that record, it just kind of changed my perspective on life, because even with kids nowadays that don't have kids like me, that grow up really blessed, at the same time, and it affects me too, because I used to go through it, but you tell yourself that you're not enough. You tell yourself that you're not good enough. You tell yourself all these negative things. And when you listen to a band that tells you that you are good enough, and you listen to, and it doesn't even have to be hardcore. You can listen to anything, any type of music. If you hear the words and it inspires you to want to be a better person, then, that band is doing their job too at the same time. They're influencing the listener to stand up for themselves. And that's what I respect the most about the Ghost Inside. Even if their music style changes, whatever, I don't really listen to them as much as I used to.
But I mean, they were that initial.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And from listening to stuff like the Ghost Inside And I was really so much influenced by the scene that I was a part of back when the Red Scare was happening.
Yeah.
And the Ground Floor, and then became the Pine Box afterwards.
Yeah.
Like, I was always influenced by the style of music that was around me at the time. So from then, I wanted to just know more about it. I just wanted to understand it more. I wanted to sit down and listen to these bands and listen to their story at the same time. And it just affected me to the point to where I want to do this. I want to be a voice, not the voice. That's another thing that people need to realize. You're not the voice. You are a voice out of a crowd that is trying to be heard. And if someone hears you, great. You know, if someone is affected by you, great. But it does not make you better than anybody else just because you are wiser and just because you know more about something than another person does. You know, you're still one in a million. That's what I respect most about bands like The Ghost Inside or bands like Forever Came Calling. I'm just naming bands off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Bands in general, if they know that they're not better than their listener, then you know what, they got my respect.
Okay. Awesome.
And like I said, I wanted to be that person. I wanted to be a voice in that crowd that could speak up for himself and hopefully help somebody out at the same time. And that's what I tried to do with my lyrics. That's what I tried to do with, you know, screaming and singing together. Whatever I was into, you know. Yeah. Everybody changes what they're into.
Yeah, well, see, like, with you, you know, like I tell most people, like, whenever, because, like I was saying, like, especially now more than ever, I really like that you are a person who can give advice, you know, and, like, that's why I said, like, you are perfect for this dad situation. Usually whenever there's people like that, like with Panky and Philip, I told them, you know, you guys should be out there. I told Panky he should be the Jeremy Camp, because that's his style of music. I told Philip he should be that hardcore vocalist who's sprouting, you know, messages at people. And I would say the same.
He should be the Jamie from Hatebreed.
Yeah, something like that, you know, spreading a message and stuff. But with you, I can't totally say that now. I can't say that you should be a musician, but what I will say is keep these ideas that you have, pass them on to your daughter, man. Pass them on to the rest of your kids that you have.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
You, just based on the fact that a person can come to you and say, like, just have a normal conversation, you start spouting advice out of nowhere, that's a dad thing right there. Yeah. And I feel like it really helps that you had a kid, and I feel like that maybe brings it out more, too, like the want to always help people, because you're going to have to one day help this little girl.
And a quality that I inherited from my dad is that of giving and helping people, because I remember not too long ago we were at my aunt's funeral and he gave the eulogy. Mm-hmm. And because you know, everyone looks up to my dad for the same reason that you just said, you know, he's that father figure that everyone comes to for advice, or for anything really. And my dad's the kind of person to just drop what he's doing at that moment and, you know, give you advice, or I mean, hell, even give you $20 if you ask for it if he's got it. But I mean, that's just the way my dad is, you know, and not a lot of people have a dad, or they do have a dad, but they don't have a dad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes complete sense, especially for me. Like,
so,
you know,
I mean, everyone really needs that, and it doesn't even have to be a father figure. They just need that, I guess, influence in their life to just want to be a better person. Whether if it's your dad, or whether if it's a band, a vocalist, a guitarist, a musician, athlete.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see more of yourself grow, and you have to want that. But what takes that is having an influence like a father figure or whoever it may be to want to bring that out.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm hoping for, you know, for my kids, for my future family. Like, I want to be that person that my dad was for me.
Oh, wow.
And even for anybody else who, you know, doesn't have that figure. I mean, I don't even have to be that person. That'd be cool. I mean,
no, of course.
But, I mean,
the way that you look at life, you know, if you just sit there and think, like, at least one thing I say gets out to someone, you know?
Yeah.
That's all that matters at the end of the day. That's one of the reasons why we record these things. One of the reasons why I had, you know, like, I have the Geekers one where it's more fun, laid back and stuff.
Yeah.
But these ones, I need these things. I need to hear things from people that I need realness. I need advice. Other people need advice.
Right. And,
you know, it's awesome. I'm going to have to... you're probably going to become more frequent guests. You know, I told myself I wasn't going to have that many frequent, but, like, I really liked getting to do this, mainly because, you know, we don't get to see each other that much.
Exactly.
We get to catch up like this. I feel like just in the past hour, you know, our friendship has just escalated.
Right.
It's been such a fun time.
And just to bring out, maybe for future reference, like I said, it's your show, it's your podcast, and I'm honored to be on it. I mean, I'm really glad that you asked me to, of course. I mean, I'm going to be here no matter what.
Yeah.
But maybe for future reference, like let's bring our other brother in here. Let's bring Philip Luke in here one day.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I mean, I want to have. I was actually thinking of that the other day. I was like, like after I get y'all solo ones, have all three of us together, so people really see like.
And I mean, it's not just him. Like, I mean, you can have like more guests like on at the same time, like me and Philip or me and Panky.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
see, I'm gonna start doing the doubles and stuff. Like I said, right now I'm just getting the solos out of the way, and then you know, sorry to people who are listening, waiting for the what I promised of the band interviews. Those are gonna come soon too. You know, I'm recording with whoever I want to sit down and have a real conversation with.
Right.
Just how it works. And there's an audience for everyone. If there's someone who doesn't want to hear this stuff, don't listen. But there's someone who does.
Right.
Even if there's just one person in every town, that's enough for me.
Right. So we'll go ahead and. Did you want to end?
Oh yeah, we're hitting our hour here, man. Do you have anything that you want to plug?
Well, I guess go ahead and ask me the question again.
What? Like the
like the question, your big question.
Oh no. I mean, well, we already kind of got past that. What I'm saying is like, do you have anything you want to plug? Like, you should go do this, or you should go listen to this, or do you have anything like?
Well, the best thing I can say in closing right now is just be who you want to be. Just be yourself.
Okay.
But at the same time, don't be a douchebag.
Yeah. And you know
that's advice I can give anybody.
Yeah. And that might sound cheesy to people, but if you take anything from me, truly listen to this man, because he's got it figured out right now, and he's fucking younger than me, and he's younger than a lot of people listening to this. So,
growing up in the scene that I was always the youngest. I was always the baby brother, and I'm still the baby brother. No matter where I go, like
he may be the baby brother, but he's probably the oldest out of all of us. Let's just look at it that way. So, I'm gonna. You know, let you go off so I can do my plugs and stuff. But dude, thanks so much for doing this. Man. This has been
thank you for
an
having
awesome
me.
time.
Yeah, I needed this too. So this was really awesome. This was cool. Glad to have you in my house at my kitchen.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
he even bought me Fuse. That's how good of a friend Dustin really is. He bought me a bottle of Fuse. I love this man.
I got to give people something until I can get the merch. Well, yeah, thanks, man. It was a really awesome time.
Thanks, man.
All right, so yeah, that there's that. You know, like I said, that's one of my best friends ever. And sorry if this was a lot different than the Panky and Philip ones. You know, this is something I had to do. I had to get to know my friend better, and it was such a fun time. If you listen to this, how could you not want to be friends with that guy? How could you not sit there and say, "Wow, I don't even know that guy, but he's a damn good dad." It's a really cool thing, and you know, before we get off here, let me get my plugs, of course. If you're in the Midland, Odessa area, or in this Texas area and whatever, you can check out the Pine Box in Midland on 510 Big Spring. It's on the corner of Big Spring in New York. I'm going to plug Andrew's child. Everyone should know that he has a child and she's awesome. And then
Alice.
Yeah, Alice. And then let me think here. There's something going on that I'm going to go ahead and plug, and I'll let people know, but I've talked about with certain people something that made me really happy in my life, and it's coming back soon, and I'm just really stoked on that. And I can't say yet, but and it's not like a huge deal or anything, but something's coming back into my life that I can't wait to share with y'all, and so just get ready for that. We're going to have that going. Soon we'll have the beats and stuff to transfer. We're going to have the website going. We're going to have Geekers and Who the Hell Are You going. We got James Cordero, who we've talked about before, and Eric Pagel, who we've talked about before, the bassist for Ivy League, actually. They're starting a podcast that's going to go on the network. To the Moving Forward guys are going to start one. So we're going to get this network going. It's going to be a really good time. But with that being said, this has been Who the Hell Are You with Dustin Cernoch, and enjoy until we see you again.